I am Fatile Ayobami Joshua. The okay, so I'm a professional, right? In business consulting, and I also do business consulting, human development, and financial consulting. That's my specialization. And of course, I've helped different people, different companies, and also entrepreneurs to redefine their go-to-market strategy, and also to help them to create or redefine their differentiation strategy in order to position themselves and then to gain their competitive edge in their industry. So currently, I teach economics and finance in the School of Business in the University of Hong Kong, and of course, I've written 3 books. And those 3 books, one of them will be the anchor for this training session, which is the first one, which is the bold move. So the bold moves will be the um, one that we're going to be using for our session for today. Okay. So based on what I've mentioned here now, can I have each and every one of you also introduce yourself? Okay. Can I get to meet each and every one of you? Can I meet each and every one of you here today? So I have 4 people on this call right now. So I have 3 people join from the incubators, and then we have one of our liaison officer joining us also. So can we have each and every one of you introduce yourself one after the other, please? So I'll start with Kako Kwari. Please, can you introduce yourself? I know you have done that before, but we still need to meet with you, and then we need to know what is your business. How far have you gone? What stage are you with your mentor? Right? We just want to know much more about you, much more about your business, and much more about your relationship with your mentor in this program so far, so that we can have a comprehensive overview of each and every one of us on this Zoom. Please, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Scott.
Yeah, good afternoon. We can hear you. Continue, please.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Korib Kako. My project deals with project floats, and I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just an innovator.
Okay. Yeah. So, how far has this program been so far? What's the relationship with your mentor? How has everything been so far?
Yeah, it has been going well so far. I think I and my mentor we have been meeting both physically and online. I've been to his office with my teammates to discuss with him.
Yeah, that's good. Good to have you here, and then yeah, we'll get to see and know more about you later. Okay, how about Odeshola Miriam?
Odushola, actually. Odushola Miriam. Hello
Sorry,
everyone. But yeah, that's fine. Good morning.
Odushola. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. So I wouldn't say my venture is like my mentor is particularly here because and I understand because she's like running a full-time business currently, Ecobata, right?
Yeah.
We only met once. We only had a conversation once, and that was after several postponements. And since then, I reached out to her this January, and even on Instagram, she has not responded yet. So, but for my venture, I also have progressed significantly. I registered my venture Ecosystems Recycling already with CAC. We have prototyped, we have tested, we're still currently testing through our exhibition at the current Unilag Trade Fair and
Okay.
testing how people would engage with reusable shopping bags, which is made from textile waste. And basically, that is our model. That's what we've been doing, and using textile waste to make sustainable furniture and all other items or products that people would love to buy. And so far our feedback has been they want us to diversify and make a range of other products like laptop bags, waist pouches, school bags, and so on. For me, I would say, like, with regards to this program itself, the incubation program, it's a bit wobbly in the sense that I've not been getting a lot of engagement from the organizers. Um, no offense, there hasn't been
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
fine.
of engagement, and it's a bit somehow, I don't know. It's somehow, and I hope that we can at least get to engage properly. It's from now till the end of the incubation period, which I believe should be next year, June. Also, we didn't receive any information concerning the seed funding we're supposed to receive, what we're supposed to do. There's basically a lot of gaps in communication as well. So I would really love it if that could be addressed. So yeah.
The Miriam, this is one of the reasons why we have a liaison officer. Okay, so truth be told, everyone is actually busy, right? People have what they are doing also apart from running this project. So we are trying to juggle this project with our own full-time job or full-time business running. All right. So but at the same time, I believe that that's one of, even if you are not able to speak with your mentor, at least you should be able to speak with your liaison officer. So my you saying that you are not getting a lot of engagement with us, I really want to understand what you mean by that. Okay. So because yes, we don't post on the group every time because we only post when we have the necessary information that we are supposed to pass across to you guys. But the reason why we have the liaison officer is so that we can have that bridge in the gap so that you guys don't feel left out. At least you can reach out to your liaison officer and then ask, okay, if there's any question you're supposed to ask, and they can give you necessary answer. Okay. So that's the way it is. And I don't know if there is any miscommunication in that direction, such that you are expecting us to be posting on the group, or uh, I'm trying to understand what you mean by there hasn't been a lot of engagement from us. If you get my point.
Yeah, thank you. When I say engagement, I mean, like, now I get what you're trying to say, that the purpose of the engagement is like just for necessary. I mean, the purpose of the group was just for necessary information. Oh yeah, no problem then. If that's the purpose of the group, no
Yeah,
problem. I
and of course, sorry, you want to say something? You what?
no.
Okay, yeah. So the next thing I want to say is that yes, in the group also, okay, in the group, if you have any question, of course, you can always reach out to us and we will be there to answer whatever question you have. Okay. So if you feel there's a question you need to ask, there's something missing that you really need information or you need answers to, of course, reach out to us on the group. We could always be ready to answer your question. Reach out to your liaison officer. Your liaison officer will be there to answer your question. And if not, of course, you can always, that's why you have my number, and also you have the chairman of the incubation committee, which is the person of the chairman, the number of the chairman is also there. So the two of us, you can always reach out to us individually if you have any question. Okay. So, but like I said, the reason for the group is for us just to be able to really post necessary information and pass news updates to you guys. And I feel that's what we've been doing so far. All right, let's move on to the next person, and we can talk more about this, Miriam, later. Okay. Next person is Olatunji Ahmed. Can you please introduce yourself? And let's make it a bit quicker. Ahmed, please, can you introduce yourself? Okay, Doris, are you there? Ajagbe Doris Abimbola, can you introduce yourself? Okay, yeah, Kolawole, that's fine. So Doris, can you introduce yourself? Kolawole said you should give him a second. A quick one, please. Let's make this snappy. We are already running behind schedule. Are you not there? Okay, let's move on. Both of you can
Morning, sir.
let
Good
me know
morning, sir.
what you. Okay, Kolawole.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm Olatunji Amit Kolaole. Can I go on, sir?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you. Please continue.
Can I go on?
Yes,
Okay.
continue,
So I'm
please. Go
Olatunji
on,
Amit
please.
Kolaole, and the name of my business is yeah, the name of my business is Vastigram. So yeah, about the relationship with my mentor, yeah, the relationship between us has been very close. So we do virtual sessions. We haven't done any physical session at all. And we're still far away. So yeah, about the progress of our business, yeah, I would say from the moment we met our mentors, our business has really grown a lot, and we are on our way to launching our mobile app, which is going to launch in the next 15 days. Our mobile app, was before we met, we were actually running a web app, and the web app was not that solid then. So we've done a
Mm.
couple of updates based on the feedback from our users, and now we realize that what they really need now is a mobile app. So we are on our way to launching it. So in the next 15 days, our mobile app is going to be out, and that is going to be a very big milestone for us. So that's the update from my end.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. And then I'm also happy that you've been having quite a good engagement with your mentor also. How about your liaison officer? Has there been any solid engagement with your liaison officer, or you do not have any reason to contact your liaison officer?
Actually, I say I've only contacted my liaison officer once, and that was when he wanted to like make hold the meeting between me and my mentor. And right from then, it's only my mentor that I've been contacting. So I'm sorry
Okay.
about that.
No, no, no. I mean, the most important person you're supposed to be contacting also is your mentor, right? And the liaison officer is there for you to, like the name suggests liaison, to liaise between you and your mentor, and also between the club and you, just in case you have any question or any inquiries to make from the club. And of course, that individual can always be there for you to help you out. All right. So, but if you're meeting with your mentor, then that's good. There's no reason to meet with the liaison officer. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about entrepreneurship. So this class, basically the first class, is taking you through the rudimentary of entrepreneurship. Okay, so I know most of you have, at least from the people who have spoken, who have introduced themselves, you have started something already. Okay, you have been building already, you have been innovating already, and then you have been pushing your MPV to the market already. So, but at the end of the day, okay, at the end of the day, no, it's still always good, even if you are aware of something, to get reminded. And if not for the being reminded of that thing, it's also good for you to be aware of some things that you might be missing along the way. And this is the reason why we are having this first session, okay, which is introductory to entrepreneurship. So first, Elon Musk says something that, okay, if you want to start a company, then you should have the everything you need in the right proportion. Okay, now this what Elon Musk is saying here is talking primarily about balance. Now, when we talk about balance or having everything or every ingredient in the right proportion, this doesn't mean you should have equal amount of everything that is needed to start or launch a business. Okay, the same way you want to bake a cake, you don't have the same ingredient, you don't have the same all the ingredients in the same quantity. Okay, some ingredients will be larger than the other. For example, you don't put the same quantity of nutmeg as the same quantity of flour. Okay, so some quantity will be bigger or larger, while some will be smaller or lower, depending on the flavor or whatever uh, thing you want to come up with while baking your cake. So this is what Elon Musk is talking about. So the book I have written here is what I call the bold mode. So you can always get a soft copy or a hard copy from Amazon, or you can go to seller to get the soft copy from seller. I don't have a hard copy for you guys in Nigeria right now, like where you can get a hard copy within Nigeria. But if you want to get a hard copy, you have to order it from Amazon. And of course, that might be a little bit pricey for you guys. So the soft copy can be accessible on seller. All right. So to you, what is entrepreneurship? Since you have started your journey of entrepreneurship, so I really want to hear from one or two people out of all of you in this Zoom call. What is entrepreneurship to you? What does it mean to you personally? Entrepreneurship, what does it mean? Anybody wants to try? Anybody wants to give us his or our own definition of entrepreneurship? Just unmute yourself and tell us. This is a sharing session. I'm facilitating this session so that each and every one of us can learn. Okay, so your
Okay,
knowledge
good
will
afternoon,
contribute.
sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah,
I feel
good morning.
entrepreneurship is just side hustle.
Is side hustle. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Can I go on, sir?
Okay, hello. Okay.
Yeah, Miriam, go ahead.
To me, entrepreneurship is linked to social impact. It is a way of creating solutions that drives user adoption, in my own opinion. So it can be for profit, can be for impacts, can be a social enterprise. Basically, that's what entrepreneurship is. You can either sell a product or a service.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that also. Doris, you want to say
Good
something?
morning. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
So to me, entrepreneurship means starting a business and managing the venture by taking financial risk. Hoping to get profits. So that's entrepreneurship is.
Awesome.
Hello?
Yeah. Hi. Yes. So, from the definition of the three of you that I've spoken already, okay, someone said entrepreneurship is a side also, like something you do by the side while doing something major. I agree with that. Okay. From the a certain perspective, in the sense that one way for you to launch into entrepreneurship is for you to, work on your vision. Okay. It's your personal vision right now. Why probably you are doing your 9 to 5. You can work on your vision at a certain time while still running your 9 to 5 with the aim that at the end of the day, you can pivot into running your vision large scale full time. Okay. But if entrepreneurship is a side hustle to you from the beginning up to the end of it, then the truth is you are not actually maximizing the what entrepreneurship has in stock for you. Okay, entrepreneurship is actually more than a side hustle, but a side hustle can be the step that you take into getting into entrepreneurship. But the second person said that entrepreneurship is, creating value for which the users can adopt. Okay, you create value for the users, and then they adopt it and use it in their own endeavor. Why the third person mentioned that entrepreneurship is a way of creating impact. So this impact and a way of getting value from it, and the value you can create can be in terms of social or economic value. So social value meaning that you are creating impact for people, and economic value meaning that you are getting profit from that. That your major aim of setting up a business or an entrepreneurship or entering into entrepreneurship is for you to get profit for yourself. Okay, that's good also. So in after learning through or checking through different kind of ways by which people differentiate or define entrepreneurship from the academic perspective and from the um, traditional perspective, we see that entrepreneurship is actually a process, right? It is a process, and that's why I agree with you, the first speaker who said that entrepreneurship is a side hustle. Well, because it's a process. It can be the first process for you. So, but it is a process of creating, managing, and growing a venture. So you want to create something and you manage it and then grow it. So when you create this thing, you are not only creating this value for yourself only. Okay, you are creating value for actually the people who will utilize this value. And the people utilizing this value can be customer or users. Okay, there are difference between clients and the final user. Okay, the client is the person who is actually paying for the product. So there are some people who make the products, they make their products, they make their value, and then they, for example, just in the social impact arena, which is what most of us in this Zoom call falls into. Okay, so we create value and then we create it for the client. The client buys this value and then give it to the users for them to be able to use, which is the final consumers. So, say for example, someone who is creating a platform where people, for example, let's say an HR company. Okay, let me digress to that. An HR company, you create an app where people can to get jobs. Okay, and then of course people also come on the other side. There are also another category or set of people who will come onto this arena to come get the value or to come get the skills of the people who are coming to get the job. So we have the company and then we have the people supplying the skills. So the people who are supplying the skills in this sense might just be the customer. So these are the people that you are actually, that are paying for your service, but the user of the service are the people who are actually, employing the people who come with their skills to work for them. Same thing also in social impact. Okay, you are running an eco-friendly venture, and this eco-friendly venture is meant for some certain set of people, but you are going through other uh, social entrepreneurs or social impact organizations to be able to distribute the value you create for the final user. So the social value entrepreneurs that you are going through are the clients, while the final consumers, those who are using the value, are of course, the final user. So in this sense, I'm just saying that entrepreneurship is a process of creating, managing, and growing a value, okay, which in form of a venture. It is a venture because it comes in an organized setting. Okay, so you create a value, manage this value, and grow this value. And in this process, everybody involved in the process get to benefit from the value that you have created, including you, who is the person creating this value. So you create the value for the end users or the customers, they buy it, meet their need, the end user uses it, also meet their need, and they pay you. And at that point, the payment you get your own profit from it, which is the value you generated from the value you have created. So it's a flow of value. This is what entrepreneurship is all about. It is the creation of value which flows across all the individuals who are involved in the process of creating this. So that's what basically what entrepreneurship is. Now, of course, in my own here, I run two companies. First is this consulting firm. I run my HCBD Consulting firm, and at the same time, I also run an educational platform here in Hong Kong. Okay, so I'm in Hong Kong. Anyways, I forgot to mention that I'm in Hong Kong and I run an educational institution here in Hong Kong. So the educational institution is one of the way by which for me to express how to create value for people. So the parents of the children that comes to my educational platform are the buyers, but they are not the final consumers. And their kids or the children are the consumers of the education that we uh, create as value to them. All right. So this is the way what it means to be an entrepreneur. So what is the importance of entrepreneur? There are different reasons why we have entrepreneur. Okay, but I mean, some of them is I will just highlight some of them from what I have here. So the first one will be the ripple effect. Now, what is the ripple effect? The ripple effect in this sense means that when you, for example, if you throw a stone inside a water, okay, ripple effect means the wave that this stone you throw inside the water creates. So when an entrepreneur starts a business, this creates a waves in the economy, okay, which helps other people to be able to create their own business. For example, let's look at the Providence Green Club as a social impact enterprise. Now, Providence Green Club created or started as a social enterprise. And then because Providence Green Club is creating a value for all of us who are part of the club, then we decide to create something like an incubation, which all of you are part of. Now, this incubation, one way or the other, I'm sure have contributed to the value that you are creating for other users also. So in this sense, the ripple effect here is that Providence Green Club created a platform, created a value, created a product or service that all of us could benefit from, which helps us, okay, to be able to also create our own value out of what or in collaboration or in complement to complement what we are doing. That is the services that Provident Green Club is offering, complement what we are doing, or help us to kickstart what we are doing, or at the end of the day, help us to complete what we are doing. All right. So this is the ripple effect of the entrepreneurship in the loop of things. Then the next one will be the developed community. Of course, like I mentioned, Provident Green Club, we create this incubation program. This incubation program has created a community. We have the mentors, we have the mentees, we have the liaison officers, and we have the Provident Green Club on its own. Now, also the person or one of the people who have spoken today talking to us about what he or she or what she is doing. Okay, she said she creates products for people where products like using waste materials to create different kind of things that users can use. Now, the using of the waste materials to create different products has created a community, and this community makes all the people who are involved in the process of creating this to want to get the value that is associated with the product that you are creating, or with the product that you are selling, or with the service that you are offering. So in this sense, we create this community, or you have been able to create this community to be of help to all the people within the community. And then the next one is to enhance the standard of living. Of course, when we create products, this helps to better the life of the people who are using the product, and even you as an entrepreneur, it helps you to better your life because there's a fulfillment that we get as entrepreneur. Okay, as entrepreneur, the fulfillment that we get as entrepreneur is part of our standard of living. Okay, so these are the things that we get as entrepreneurs. Another thing is to stimulate demand in the wider economy, also political and economic integration of outsiders. The next one will be the natural creativity and productivity and innovation. So these are the reason why we do entrepreneurship because it helps us to nurture our creativity. It helps us to be more productive and it helps us to be more innovative in everything that we do. Entrepreneurship spoils your creativity. So this is why entrepreneurship is much more important and is more than what you do as a side hustle. Okay. Then it also helps in promoting research and development. It helps to create more jobs and opportunity. Of course, what you do, you employ other hands to help you to do what you do. So this creates more jobs and opportunity. And then lastly, makes social impact. This seems to be the core of what all of us are doing on this platform, which is the Green Generation Green X. Okay, the Generation Green X or your value that you are creating is making a social impact on the people who are buying and using your product. So this and other numerous factors are the reasons why entrepreneurship is important to a community, why entrepreneurship is important to a nation, why entrepreneurship is important to a particular context or environment. Then the next thing will be what are the key traits of entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. Now, for any entrepreneur to be successful, there must be things that should be present. And the first one of it will be the vision and the passion. Entrepreneurship is challenging. Now, I know that entrepreneurship in Nigeria is even much more challenging because of the changing in the policy, changing in the business environment that happens every now and then. And then when you look at it and from the world or the global perspective also, there is still changes going on. For example, the introduction of AI. Things can change very fast. So what can sustain or make an entrepreneur to be solid in being grounded in whatever product or services that the entrepreneur is offering would be his vision and his passion. That is the only thing that would make the entrepreneur to be able to navigate all the challenges and the changes that the entrepreneur faces every single day. Another thing would be adaptability and resilience. Okay, so like I mentioned, your passion and your vision helps you to adapt easily because things will change rapidly. Unexpected will happen, the things you do not expect. So how do you pivot from what you have been doing to what is needed? Your clients or your consumers or your customers will ask you for some things. Okay, why don't you do it this way? They will give you feedback. You know, or even if they are not saying it directly, their behavior, okay, buying behavior will give you the feedback. So if you are not ready to adapt and you are not resilient enough to be able to pivot, then of course the business might die. So this is one of the key characteristics of entrepreneur. You should be ready to adapt, be more flexible as much as you are resolute about your vision and passion. Then of course, risk taking and innovative. Okay, so there are some times when you want to give up on yourself. Okay, for example, we know the story of Tesla. We know the story of Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the richest man on earth today. But at the point in time, Tesla, the company Tesla, or the electric vehicle company that he created or started, was about to die. That it was like things were going down the drain for him. But he stuck with his vision. He stuck with his passion even though things were not going the way he planned, he still stuck with it. And at the end of the day, he emerged something all of us can celebrate today. Same thing with Amazon. Amazon was wore through for like 5 years, wasn't making any profit. But because of the risk-taking ability of the founder, he kept pushing, even though he wasn't making any profit. Okay, revenue was coming, but profit was not in view. But he stood his ground and then stayed there. And I'm sure most of us here that are on this call also, one way or the other, you must have faced some challenges which could have suggested to you to quit on your vision. It must have been very difficult for you, but one way or the other, you decide to stick to go through with the plans you have, to go through with the vision you have, to go through with creating the product and the service that you have been able to create it, or you're in the process of creating right now. So this is the very cogent or important um, trait that you need to have and develop at every point in time. And you must not allow that to die as an entrepreneur. Okay. No matter how successful you get, or you have not yet been a success yet, as much as you think you should be right now, your risk taking and innovative ability must not die. And then the next one will be the strong work ethic. Work ethic, someone says something. It says only entrepreneur are the people, okay, who will quit 9 to 5 because they want to work for the rest of their whole life on the project. Okay. For 9 to 5, you go to work office by 9 and then you quit by 5. I mean, you leave the work by 5 and then probably you can do other things. But as an entrepreneur, you work on your your vision, you work on your passion, you work on your product, you work on your everything almost every time. Even while you're eating, you're thinking, okay, what is the next move I can make? So a strong work ethic is something that differentiates an entrepreneur from a career-oriented person. And another thing is effective communication and leadership. This is non-negotiable. Then this also customer focus. You have to be focusing on your customer. I will talk more about this later. Okay, so I wouldn't need to stress this at this point. And then lastly is the financial management. Managing finances in business is very important. If you do not manage your finances well, then it means that you are not going to be successful as an entrepreneur. So you have to manage your resources very well. You have to manage your finance very well. Okay. So this is a way to become a successful entrepreneur. These are the traits that is needed for you to succeed as an entrepreneur. So what are the challenges of a small business? Small business will have different challenges. Number one is I categorize these challenges into three different parts. The first one is finance, the second one is markets or marketing, and then the third one is operation. So these three major ways are the ways you can have issues or challenges in your business. Now, at this point, I will want to hear from each and every one of you. How have you faced any challenges in terms of your business, and how have you been able to navigate these challenges? I want to hear from each and every one of you. Can you let me know who has in any way faced any challenges in any of these three areas, and what are the ways by which you have been able to overcome these challenges? So anybody can unmute himself or herself and talk. Anybody wants to talk, please?
Yes, sir. So I would say one under finance, under financial
Yeah.
challenge, there was a point in that our website was on the verge of expiring, and we
Okay.
actually at that time we had no money to renew the website.
Hmm.
So it was like days to expiring time that they gave us, the deadline that they gave us. And what we had to do was to like reach out to since you are not here making money, I mean, a tech product, you are not here making money. So we just had to like, and the money we have on ourselves, we've exhausted it on trying to build the product and buy some things, servers and the likes. So we have to now
Mm.
start reaching out to our brothers and family members. Ah, this is what we are building. This is that, and our this thing is on the verge of collapsing. This in any way that we can, you can help us. Please, try to help us. I think yeah, they call it bootstrapping. Just try to like reach out to them. Since we saw that we had no option but to actually talk to the people that care about us. So and we tell them about our product and what we are doing, and when they saw that this is something that makes sense and they are willing to help, so then they started sending money to us too. So that money was able to help us, apart from the web expiring, was able to help us in operation because there was a point in time that we camped ourselves in a particular place that we're the one responsible for our feeding and basically our living expenses. And we're not making any money. And it's not that we have any kind of investor, but still on the money that we're able to get from our family members, that was what we spent. Or was it not like a month or more than maybe 5 weeks or so or 6 weeks? So it was the money that we're able to get from them that we're able to use to sponsor ourselves. So under marketing, I would say there was a point in time that we were talking to our users because that time the rate of activity on our platform was very, very low. Was very, very low. And we
Mm.
had to think like, what's happening? What's happening? This shouldn't be, we didn't expect it to be like this. So why is this
Yeah.
happening? They now started talking to people. We started reaching out to potential partners that okay, that will believe that I can use this platform. And people that have used it before that they didn't come back to the platform.
Yeah.
So we were unable to retain them. So yeah, when we went deep down to go to the root of the matter and we realized that it was because our product is a web app and the retention of a website is very, very low because people already get notification from it and most of their friends are not yet on Vastagram. So that's why imagine if you don't have any friends on WhatsApp now. So what
Yeah.
reason do you have to be on the platform when you have no people to talk to? So then we did our research and all thanks to God, we were able to like get back on track and our activity, we're actually able to increase our activity. So that's why we are now realize that we need to launch a web app and that is coming on very, very soon. So yeah, that's all from my end.
Yeah, that's a good one. Um, Cash flow is one of the major challenge that a business will have. And I'm glad about the way you are able to tackle this. Okay, of course, there are different ways by which you can tackle your cash flow, talking to suppliers, talking to the final users, and bootstrapping, or you can go into raising of funds through debts or equity. Okay, so one way by which you have been able to address your financial issue is is one of the good ways to handle this kind of challenges when we have financial challenges in business. Okay, so yeah, that's great. And of course, for marketing, so I love the fact that you were able to do a self audit of your business and then you're able to find out what exactly is the issue. And at the same time, you are able to also provide a lasting solution to that. And of course, I also wish you all the best when the app launches in few days. So I believe that will be a decisive solution to the challenges or the issue that you have been able to identify. And yeah, I can only wish you all the best. Okay, is there any other person who would like to share what are the challenges you have faced in any of these three areas and how have you been able to, head on confront these and which has been like instead of a stumbling block that's been a stepping stone for you to, get you to where you are in business right now? Any other person? Miriam, you care to share? Is there any time you have any challenge in business?
Okay, yes, hello. Yes, actually, I'll say one major challenge I've had is education. I'll say most
Mm.
Nigerians are basically used to they're basically used to a lot of things that shouldn't be considered normal. Littering, open defecation, peeing on the streets. These things contribute to climate crisis, but somehow people normalize it here. So it's hard convincing people that plastic bags that they use actually like generate microplastics and they are not degradable and it causes significant problems to them. So one thing I'm doing to change that is to ensure that most people, like in our model, we have like an environmental education sector where we are going to be educating children in schools, teenagers, like these are the people that have not like being shaped by what society thinks yet. So it's easier to get to them. So the plan is to like just like have that environmental education and workshops going on. And from there, we're going to like then proceed to having them buying into our vision. Because I don't believe anyone can buy into your vision if they don't actually like understand it. So ignorance is what we're trying to cure in our sector. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a major issue also. One of the reasons why um, businesses do not scale, let me use the word scale, okay, or their go-to-market strategy fails, or they do not tend to last long in the market is because number one, probably they are, targeting the wrong audience, or they are not visible enough, or the mode of their information dissemination, which is the brand awareness in this case, is not the right one. Now, the problem of ignorance, okay, that you guys are solving in this case, yeah, it's can be under brand awareness or trying to push your brand out. Okay, but of course, this is one of the major issue, one of the value proposition that you guys are offering to your clients or to the end users in your value chain in this case. So if you are not doing that in the right way, or you are not going through the appropriate or the right channel to be able to solve this problem, then of course you might not be able to achieve that, okay, which would be like a failure to your brand, okay, or to your business in the sense that you are not getting the results that you uh, seek out, or the major objective that you really want to achieve, you are not really achieving them. So, and of course, one thing I can pick up from what you are saying is that you are using the right method, okay, the right mode of communication to communicate your value proposition to your end users so that you can get the results that you want. Going to schools, I believe, is the major way by which you can convince people, because you find out that those ones are not yet brainwashed with the society's way of thinking. So those ones can easily be convinced because they are in school, which is a formal settings and stuff like that. So yeah, those are the ways by which we have challenges in business. And of course, the ways by which we confront them also will be a deciding factor whether our business can remain, scale, or die off. Okay, so these are different ways by which we have challenges in business. So two things I would like to say under finances in this case is that, of course, number one is cash flow. Okay, when we talk about economy, okay, economy determines what how you are patronized. Your patronage is determined by the economy. If the people that are supposed to patronize you, or your consumers that are supposed to consume your good, are not, they don't have the right needs, most especially if you are targeting the low end consumers, not the high end consumers. In this case, you might have a challenge with cash flow. Okay, and when you have challenge with cash flow, you must have a decisive way of addressing this kind of issue, which, like I've mentioned, probably you reach out to your, suppliers, reach out to people who want to give equity or debt or by raising fund, or you do a bootstrapping from your own purse or friends and family and stuff like that. So cash is a major issue, and like we say, cash is king in business. And another thing I would like to mention in the context of Nigeria is tax. I know that starting from January, there has been a reform in the way tax are being looked upon, or the way taxes are being calculated in Nigeria. So in this case, for you guys in Nigeria, this might be a major issue that you need to pay attention into. Okay, it might be a challenge for you, and this is why, of course, if you really do not know, of course, I'm not so familiar with the uh, tax operation in Nigeria yet, and this is why one of the reasons why we are doing this incubation program, because you will get a hang of this, or you've gotten a hang of that from the accountant who presented to you guys a while ago. And at the same time, in the last meeting on the 28th, a lawyer is going to be coming to talk to you, and I'm sure she also might want to touch a little bit more on tax issue for you guys, because that also can affect your business. And here, under marketing, I'm talking more about the brand awareness. How do you push your brand? Of course, your branding is the major way the people perceive you, okay? And your perception in the market, it really matters a lot. If the people perceive you wrongly, for example, placing you side by side another brand, and then they can't find the difference between your brand and the other brand, then you will definitely have an issue. So in this case, there must be something you are doing that sticks your brand out, that makes your brand different from other brands. So brand awareness, brand positioning are very, very vital points to take note of under marketing when you are trying to solve this problem. So that's what I will talk about on that Friday. And then for operations, people are your most appreciable assets in your business. And at the same time, they can be the most challenging part of your business. So depending on the way you handle them, depending on the way you galvanize and organize people, okay, you might not have a co-founder, you might not have an employee yet, but at least you are relating with people one way or the other in your value chain to be able to create the value that you are actually proposing to the market. And if you are not managing these, people in your value chain or in your touch point or your customer journey very well, then I will say that you are going to have a major, major challenge in your business. So please pay attention to the people part of your business. It's very important. It also can break or it can make your business. And then next, let's talk about business continuity and business breakthrough. Okay. For business breakthrough, these are the things that we already mentioned in the last slide. Business breakthrough is when you are able to overcome or surmount a challenge. That's when you have a breakthrough. For example, you are still in your MPV phase. You are trying to develop your minimum viable product. If you are able to successfully develop this, and then your go-to-market strategy works well, then you can say that you have a breakthrough. Okay. Or you're trying to pivot based on the feedback you've heard from your customers, okay, or based on whatever, you just feel there should be a pivot in the way you position yourself, or in the way you in the way you solve the problem you are solving, or the way you create the value in terms of products or service that you are creating. So if you are able to successfully do this, that is a breakthrough for you and for your business. So that's what we mean by breakthrough. And when we talk about continuity, continuity is looking into the long run. Okay, so how will your business be able to survive? Not just survive and also thrive. So here we are looking at business staying for the long run, and not just staying, you are thriving as a business. How do you thrive as a business in the long run? So this is what we refer to as business continuity. And for you to be able to do these two well, for you to be able to have these two side by side, for you to be able to come up with a breakthrough and continuity strategy, there's one thing that has to be at the back of your mind. Okay. And that is what I refer to as the purpose of your business. Now, before I mention that, I would like to ask each and every one of you again, what do you think is the purpose of a business? Why do we start a business? Okay. Or yeah, Why do we start a business, or what do you think is the purpose of the business? Your business that you are running today, why is your business in existence? Anybody wants to
Okay.
give me an insight into
From
that? Yeah.
from my own perspective, I would say to the purpose of starting a business is to create a value in the sense that providing a solution to the existing problem around you or in the society.
Well, agreed. Okay. Yeah. One way to look at it is, of course, value, right? The purpose of a business is to create value in terms of solution to the problems around you or in your society. Okay. This helps you to, stay put in business. Yeah. Any other person? What is the purpose of a business? Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Middle.
I think the primary
Yeah.
purpose of a business is to earn income, to make income.
Okay. The primary purpose of a business is to make income. Okay. Yeah. Let me have one more person say something about that. What do you think is the purpose of a business?
Okay,
Any other person?
good morning. Good morning. My name is Anidu.
Yeah.
I feel
Yes.
the purpose of starting a business is to earn income, yes.
Hmm.
But what keeps the business going has to do with your why, because the purpose is quite different from the why. So using my business as a case study now,
Yeah.
is income. But why is to value that solves a lifelong problem which are identified in the community. So primarily the why is to solve the problem of living in Bariga, where waste is more like a lived reality, and it has affected so many other problems. So why I said my business is to solve this problem. So and the purpose at the end is to solve problem, you are creating social impact at the same time, it's in our environmental impacts, I mean, cleaning up every other place, and an economic impact at the end. So it's more like three in one, coming from getting started. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you have said. I picked one or two things, but I really couldn't hear most of the things you said because your line was a bit breaking. So yeah, I heard the economic aspects, the environmental and the social aspect of your business. Yeah, and you mentioned that the major important thing about a business being in existence is the why. Okay, yeah, all what you guys have said is very important. Okay, so maybe another way to frame my question would be, what keeps your business going? Okay, what is the most important factor of a business being in existence? Okay, the most important factor for a business to be in existence is your customer. When we talk about business, okay, the major purpose of a business is not to create income for the founder, it's not to make profit, but is to create customer and to keep the customer in a cost effective way. Okay, that's the primary purpose of the business. Create customers and keep them. If you cannot create customer and you cannot keep them, yes, you have a value which is absolutely unique, absolutely spot on, that is going to meet the need of the people that you actually target. But if these people you are targeting are not being converted, okay, they are not being seen, or they don't see your product as something that is useful to them, they will not become your customer. All right. So until the product or the value you are being able to create is able to meet the need of the people that you actually who are meant, who the product is meant for, then then you can say that you have a business and then the purpose of a business is being met. So again, the major purpose of a business is to create and to keep customer in a cost-effective way, or else the business will die. All right. So how then do we create and keep a customer? The key word in this is customer satisfaction. And when we talk about customer satisfaction, this talks about the whole experience that your customer will have in interacting with your product and services. Okay. So when they interact with your product and services, what is everything they experience? Everything they are experiencing, interacting with your product, everything they are experiencing, using your service, using your product is what we refer to as customer experience. And this is what translates into customers' satisfaction. So until your customer is satisfied, okay, then you cannot say that you have a customer. Because when your customer is satisfied, how do you measure customer satisfaction? All right. So don't forget the purpose why you're starting a business is to create and to keep a customer or customers. And the way to create and keep customer is to give them a unique experience or give them unique experiences that will make them to be satisfied. And how do you know that you have satisfied your customer? The way to know that you satisfy your customer is when they come back to buy from you. So if your customers are not coming back to buy from you, then you have not been able to satisfy your customer and you are not creating and keeping your customer. This will cost you a lot. Maybe you've heard that it is always more expensive to acquire more customers than to keep or maintain the ones you have. Okay, so the way to keep the customers that you have is to ensure that the whole customer experience and all the touch points and the customer journey make them to be satisfied. And when they are satisfied, they will come back to purchase from you. Okay, so whenever you are doing your design, your product, your branding, your marketing, anything you are doing in your value chain, what should be at the back of your mind is how do I satisfy my customer? And this satisfaction can be measured by how often do they come back. And this is where we look at the customer life cycle, okay, or the cost of customer acquisition, which is the amount you use in getting one customer divided by the amount the customer spend over the life cycle of the customer. Okay. So if a customer stick with you for 5 years, how much will the customer spend staying with you? And how much did you spend to acquire that one customer? This variable, this factor, which is what I've just mentioned, okay, the customer life cycle, measuring the customer life cycle, which is how much you use to acquire one customer and how much the customer spend over the life period staying with you. So this over this will give you the number that most people should pay attention to. Okay, for me, this is one of the numbers I pay attention to in my business. Okay, I pay attention to how much do I spend to acquire the customer divided by how much does the customer spend over the life period that of the customer pronouncing us. Okay, and another thing that we need to note, okay, in customer satisfaction is that when they are satisfied, they will not only come back to buy from you, they will not only be your loyal customer, they will also be willing to introduce you to other people. And I can bet with you, this is how you can reduce your cost of acquisition. Okay. I mean, customer acquisition cost. One way to reduce it is to satisfy your customer so that they can introduce you to other people. So if your business is having this, that people can introduce you or your product or your service or your business to another person, then it means you are doing a great job. But if you are not having this, then you should know that you are not doing a great job. And what is a great job? It is customer satisfaction. And what is customer satisfaction? It is that when you promise what your brand, your product, your service promises to deliver to the customer, at the end of the day, they actually get it. And this is what we refer to as transformation. So when you are selling your product, don't just sell the product, sell the transformation. What will the customer experience? How will the customer look like? What will be the aftermath of the customer using your product? Will they be satisfied? Will they, whatever it is, let it be a transformation, which can be in terms of status, it can be in terms of problem solved, it can be in terms of ease, you know, different way transformation can be measured. So you as a business owner, you need to define what is transformation to you for your customer. So if my customer uses my product, what will be the end result for them? How will they feel? What will it look like for them at the end of the day after using my product? This is what we call transformation. And that is what I want you guys to focus on as develop your products and services, as you hone your value chain to make this business much more profitable for you and to develop value for the people or the everybody in the entire value chain. Okay, from you creating the product to the consumer or buyer and to the final user. Okay, everybody in that loop, there must be a transformation for the last person who is using your product. That is what should be at the back of your mind. And with that, then your business can break through at every point in time, and you can always have a sustainable or a continuity of business. Okay, so these are the things that I would like to share with you today. And with this, we will have come to the end of our meeting for today.